Hello everyone, Jeremy Brown here. Really excited to be doing this video because Startups Give Back turns 5 years old next month. And so I figured I want to take a little bit of time and talk about how this whole thing got started. It seems like every single event that I go to, whether I'm organizing it or if I meet somebody at a conference, for example, they always ask me, how did Startups Give Back get started? So that's what I'm going to do in this video. So in order to share with you how this all got started, I have to go back to 2011. So 2011 is when I graduated from college, and I quickly joined a really large organization in San Francisco. Plenty of resources. I'm talking about thousands of employees around the world, plenty of money in the bank, all kinds of brands underneath the umbrella of the company, if you will. And I was there for a little over a year. Not one time did we ever give back to our community. We never donated any money. We never donated any time. We didn't do anything. It really wasn't encouraged. Not to say that it was discouraged, it just wasn't something that was a high priority on the list of things to do at that company. Now, me being new to the workforce at the time, I didn't think anything of it. Really, social impact or philanthropy wasn't really in my sphere of thinking until I left that company and eventually joined a small startup. This startup was relatively small, again, in San Francisco. And we had limited resources. Obviously, we were growing, but we had limited funds. We didn't have a whole lot of people. But the interesting thing is, we made it a priority to give back to our community. So the very first week that I joined that company, we went out and volunteered as a team. And really reflecting on my previous company, I didn't have that experience. We didn't, like I said, we didn't volunteer or do any type of philanthropic initiatives. And so I found myself volunteering with my team, and the experience was amazing because we weren't in an office or anything like that. We were out in the community, just normal people. And what I realized is that, at least for me, it gave me a chance to meet my colleagues in a different way, right? You weren't meeting people in your office. So guards, typically when you're in the workplace, people are more reserved, right? They're not as vulnerable for various reasons. But when you get outside of the office and you simply volunteer, you get a chance to get to know people on a more personal level. And so that's the experience that I had. And for me, it was amazing. And so for every new group of employees that we had at that company, we did the same exact thing. We took everyone out and we volunteered as a team. And what I quickly realized is that, hey, we're using volunteering for two reasons. One, because it matters. It matters for companies to give back to the community that we pull resources from. And two, it's a fantastic team building activity. Again, it gives everyone a chance to get to know each other on a more personal level, which when it comes to team cohesiveness, especially at a growing startup, that's really important for culture. And so going through that process of having these volunteering activities, months went by and I found myself reflecting on my new company versus my former company. And for the life of me, I could not figure out how a small startup with such limited resources was able to do more for the community than a large company with plenty of resources. It didn't make sense to me. And so that was the first domino that fell and got me on this path of trying to figure out how to get companies more involved. And I didn't know how I was going to do it. I had to really sit down and really have a conversation with myself about how can I actually get more companies involved? And so I essentially reflected on my previous roles, my experience, my interests when it comes to startups and entrepreneurship and all that good stuff. And that's where the idea of a volunteering event, bringing several companies together to essentially volunteer and help nonprofits in the community, was surfaced. And so, Startups Give Back, it blends volunteering and networking to make this really remarkable experience where not only are you giving back to your community, but you're getting a chance to meet other companies. And so it's just this really fun activity, fun experience. And so that is how Startups Give Back got its start. It wasn't something that was just an epiphany, like a light bulb went off. It was a series of events or experiences that I had in my own life, in my career, that really led up to this point. So with Startups Give Back turning 5 years old next month, just taking some time to really think about the journey, and it's been a remarkable experience, just a fantastic adventure, learning a lot, meeting so many amazing people along the way, and the good thing is we're just getting started.